just
See
sitting
what
here.
happens when you ask questions?
I'm just a boy standing in front of his friends, hoping for forgiveness for a terrible mistake I've just made.
Oh, you had me at hello.
Are we going to talk about shit, or are we just going to?
Yeah, good.
We are.
You guys ready?
Let's do this.
Let's do
Do a
it.
thing.
Let's light this candle. Hello and welcome to Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast, the premier flagship and international podcast of LRM Online and the Genreverse Podcast Network. Apparently also sociology. Can we get like an EDU at the end of our podcast URLs? I feel like we're there.
We
right?
should. I feel like we should diversify. We should
Our
diversify our gender demographics before we do that, though.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good on that. We're preaching where we are where we need to be, right? Preaching.
We can call it the mansplainers.
I like the
That'd be the
Ladtastic 4. I like
Ladtastic 4 too.
I think it just works.
I mean, but
Even
that's specific. That's not specific to sociology.
What are you talking about?
Ladtastic 4.
Yeah, Dr. Ladtastic 4.
Okay.
Doctor. I mean, Reed Richards isn't a Fantastic Four. He doesn't really seem to like draw flack from having a weird superhero name. So
I'm really confused by where this conversation has gone. I think we were off the mark.
Dr. Richards.
We've missed
Dr.
we've
Jammer.
missed the spine.
We've already got the doctor.
I
Danny,
feel
you
like
look
this
at all the time.
this conversation is Rainbow Road, and I've driven off the edge many times already. I think we're
You
done.
can't see me. I'm gonna be the
This
invisible
conversation
woman. You can't
is
see me.
over.
Done.
There's a segue there somewhere. I can't remember what we're talking about.
What? I always know what we're talking about. And
You have a
on this
plan.
show, we're going to be talking about Uncharted, which stars Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland. Currently sitting at a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes, 6.8% out of 10. I'm sorry, 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb, and a 47% on Metacritic. No audience score as of yet, because it only drops today.
Isn't IMDb an audience score? Technically,
Yeah.
it's only people who review it, right? They don't have critics.
You know what? I've never looked at that. Let's see.
I think that's the case. It's just with
Let's
but
take a
people
look.
can review it without seeing it. Obviously, it's people who
So
didn't see
out
it are
of-
like,
we
not
go
my
by
Nathan
that?
Drake.
Hmm?
What was
We
that?
have
Why
a
Jam?
would
bunch
we?
of not my Nathan. We have a bunch of not my Nathan Drakers mudding the waters of the IMDb score.
I think the reason why I usually do it is because, oddly enough, sometimes it does line up with popular thoughts and opinions. But you're right. It often is way ahead of what it should be because people haven't seen it. So you know what? That's a good point. We're dropping it. You're
Like
done.
it's
not.
IMDb. You're done. Anything else? I think we're good.
No,
Oh, we're
Okay,
also going
Put
to
it down.
discuss Peacemaker, just to let them know up top.
So we're going to be talking about, we got a bunch of Superbowl trailers. So we're going to be talking about a couple of those. Peacemaker ended this week. We're going to be talking about that, all in a lead up to discussing Uncharted to see if we think it's as bad as the other critics do. Is it a 40%? I don't know. We'll find out with Nick, Danny, and I think. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Did you guys watch the Super
Use it
Bowl?
up.
No.
I watched part of it. We had a friend over. We kind of had on and off, and we transitioned to random shit. But then we watched the last quarter, which was quite a delightful quarter. I actually enjoyed that game. Like what I saw of it, it was fun to watch. You know,
Okay.
that's always great.
I
Danny,
just
you
made sure
shared
to
all
catch
about
all the
Superbowl.
trailers.
I couldn't remember who won or who played, but you know, it was fun either way.
Someone from LA won.
It was that one team
Okay.
with the jersey and the helmets.
Go Rams.
Rams.
You know, Nick, I think what you just brought up is kind of the reason why I just don't watch it anymore. There was a period of time where I will watch it for the game, then I just watch it for the commercials. Now, with the way the internet and the world is, I don't even need to do that. Like there was a point in time where they were releasing a bunch of ads before the Super Bowl even happened that were going to be
Yeah.
Super Bowl spots. So now I'm just like, there's just a waste of time.
Plus,
It
like,
was such a waste of time.
they always have the extended trailer hit online.
Yeah.
Even the extended ads, like there's a much longer version of the Larry David ad, which is way better. Like they spend about like 20 seconds in every time period rather than like giving him a line in every time period.
Yeah.
I
And I think they
definitely
did the
thought
same
you
thing with the
said-
cable guy as well.
Yeah. And Dr. Evil is a longer version online.
I definitely thought you said extended dads for a second, and I was like, "What the fuck is an extended dad?"
You don't
That
want
sounded
to know.
I know.
The father way past his prime.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That was a nice G-rated version.
Oh, that's fine.
Anyway.
Oh God, I didn't even go there. Ugh. Anyway, we got
Yeah, very
trailers.
clearly.
God. We got trailers for lots of things, but the things that we mostly care about are superhero stuff, plus Jordan Peele's next film, Nope. So we've got Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, and Nope. Which would you all like to tackle first? I can tell you that Nope will probably
Let's
be
tackle
the
Nope.
fastest. Nope.
No, is it? Okay.
Fastest to discuss?
I guess
yeah,
because
because we really don't know. what the
I
hell's
also think it
going
was
on.
the best trailer. I think the trailer was fucking awesome. It looks so good. I
Okay.
was really
Mysterious.
impressed.
Okay, Jammer, jump it. Just
Yeah,
jump in
jump
there.
in.
Tell me why.
Just jump
What's going
right
on?
into it.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
It was just it almost made me wish, and I guess it kind of isn't fully going to horror thing, but like it just made me wish that I can't wait for Jordan Peele to venture outside of horror. Obviously, I like the horror elements, but I feel like there's just something about this that felt like, oh, I kind of want to see what this is like without that horror slant to it. Sure, I can go to supernatural, but less of a horror slant to it would be pretty cool, because the way the film was just made, the way like the shots were laid out, the way the characters interacted, I just thought it was really engaging. And I did not for the life of me know that first film was a black man on a horse. I thought it was just a white man. I don't know. I never noticed that. That also blew my mind. So I learned something today.
And you went to film school, and they were just like, "No."
I went to film school. No, I saw it. I just in my head.
No. We're skipping like what it is. Like, yeah, we're just gonna move on past what that is.
We're just gonna move on. And there's a man. His face is whited out. So we'll go ahead and just move on from there. It's not important to history. No, but it was. I like it whenever it kind of got like because it involved film on some level, and just the way it felt. I got some mild sort of Edgar Wright, Tarantino, and I forget the name of the other guy. What's the Drew Goddard vibes from it? Just the way it felt, and it just made me want him to dive more into sort of film history from a different perspective, minus the horror element. Just because I would be interested to see his movie based on that.
Just to be clear, you're saying out of horror into what, sci-fi, or just like no super, like none of that stuff?
Either sci-fi or none of that. Either one.
Okay.
Because horror is admittedly not my favorite genre. It's like I'll watch it if it's good, but it's not my favorite. So I almost want to see him venture outside of that into either straight sci-fi or into just more standard fiction.
What about,
if you want to call it?
More of it's similar to Get Out, but not as good. Like sorry,
or maybe even like an Adam McKay feel as well. I can see him going that route as well.
That
yeah,
Lakeith Seinfeld movie, the one where he has the
you,
white voice.
Thank you for
it's just like, or don't. Sorry to bother you.
Yeah,
where it's like very surreal, and
I can see that too.
Ways, yeah, like, but still, political. I mean, racial commentary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, I thought it looked really good. This is actually might be the most engaging trailer that I've seen from any of his movies, for me personally. That person getting pulled out like by the freaking spaceship looks so cool. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait.
I think the people that love 5 on it would disagree with you, and I think that Us is probably his most engaging trailer, but that's neither here nor there. Danny and or Nick, what do you guys think?
I liked it a lot. I only watched it once because they're just, it's a pretty mysterious trailer as far as he's not showing his full hand. He's keeping his cards close to his vest. But I did. This is more of a commentary on like the opening scene where they're shooting a movie and she's wearing a green shirt in front of the green screen. I was like, that's gonna be hard to fucking do special effects on whoever's working on that film. That was one of my main thoughts.
Wait, Jonesy, why were
I enjoyed it.
Why were we laughing at Nick just now?
I remember a commentary that Nick has made about that specific phrase as it relates to The Dark Knight.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that.
Yeah, that's two different
you're talking
characters
about how two different characters said something.
I've never.
Like, why is he referencing that when he didn't hear that other person say it?
Yeah, it's just like, the writer just liked that line. Because normally I wouldn't write. If I was writing, I wouldn't write the same exact phrase for two different characters who don't see each other say it. It's a minor complaint, but that's something I always like Mitchell's versus the Machines. It always bothers me.
Oh my God.
Damn it.
Danny, what did you think of Nope?
I don't think excuse me. I don't think I went that far into my analysis of it, other than the fact that I really enjoyed it. And to me, when Jammer was listing off those directors, filmmakers that he was kind of getting the vibes from, when I was watching it, I was pleased that it looked like it wasn't going to be horror, because just like Jammer, it's not my favorite genre at all, really. Not well. I was hoping, thinking, watching it, that it's more sci-fi, that it's going to be more like a, should we say, it would be like if Shyamalan Ding Dong made
it does look a
good
little bit like
film,
Signs.
that's what this would look like, as in, because he understands, if he learned how to write characters with voices and how to write words and conversations and stuff. So that's the vibe I was getting. I was getting like a good sci-fi, crazy mystery thing, as if Shyamalan knew what he was doing when he was making one of those kind of things. So I was looking at that, looking at it like that, and enjoying every second of it. And I'm with you guys. When that character was pulled out up into the sky, I was like, holy fuck! Now we're getting into real good looking SFX sci-fi scary shit. We haven't seen that before, kind of thing, which is kind of rare nowadays. So I'm excited by it. I hope it's not horror, I guess is my point.
It felt like full horror to me. I don't know. And I
definitely get that vibe.
Definitely Kyle, who hates grays and he thinks there are grays in it. I watched his reaction video. He's like, oh fuck. So he's definitely someone who's like, nope, I'm not going there.
No, but the thing is, I think like Danny, it's like if I saw that trailer, I wouldn't think horror. I would think maybe thriller, sci-fi. And a part of me is like, well, it's a Jordan Peele movie. It's gonna have the horror, so I have to like brace myself for the horror that I'm not really a huge fan of. And I wish I didn't have to go into it thinking, oh God, it's a horror. I got to prepare myself.
I guess does you think it kind of depends on how you define horror? Because there's so many parts to that genre, right? You guys, do you remember Fire in the Sky, the alien abduction movie many years ago?
Yep.
You remember that one? Jonesy, you remember that one?
I do.
I did not see that one.
I remember it, and I remember really enjoying it because it was genuinely fucking scary about the thought of being kidnapped, and then eventually, not until 3/4 of the way through the film, do you actually see what's kind of happening to them in the spaceship and stuff, allegedly. And to me, that was quite horrific. It was sci-fi, it was alien abduction, but the whole theme of it was quite horrible. It was quite horrific. It was quite scary, unsettling, nervy. Whereas you could class horror as the whole slasher, stabbing, blood and guts and shit. And that's the kind of stuff I don't like. So
I just don't like jump scares. I don't like jump scares. Just don't get rid of the jump scares.
And even like fine. I was gonna say thriller versus horror. I mean, they go kind of hand. I would say Jurassic Park is a thriller and a horror movie, and same with Jaws. And Jurassic Park is full of jump scares. Like, we did it, Mr. Arnold, and then the Velociraptor just goes like sticks his head through the pipe, so he somehow got behind.
Yeah, I don't like jump scares though.
Okay.
What do you think, Jonesy?
I think it's weird. I think Us is more of a horror movie than Get Out.
There's a reason why I've avoided it is because it looks really scary.
I don't think of Get Out as a horror movie. I think of it more as like it's.
But it has that
commentary.
fucking bullshit moment where the guy's running in the back and this has that music going dun, and he's running really fast.
But that's not horror, right? That's just like somebody being
scare.
chased.
That's a jump scare. That was a jump scare.
That's not a horror movie to me. That's just like a moment that you get scared at.
To Don't Bother. I mean, sorry to bother you. Where it's like there's
supernatural.
To Don't Bother You.
Looking at some of the stuff in this trailer, I like the cast. I like Keke Palmer and David Kaluuya and Stephen Yeun. One of the things I think is interesting, there's obviously going to be some social commentary in here because you have Black protagonists, and I think the aliens. Looking at some of the stuff that Stephen Yeun is selling, who I think is Stephen Yeun selling things, you have like these white-faced aliens. So I think that social commentary is going to be very interesting.
I tell Kyle, they're not grays, they're whites.
I mean, so I say that because I'm looking at the there's a screen grabber. There's a moment in the trailer where they show what looks like that rodeo area that they're in, and they have things for sale like t-shirts and buttons, and one of the things they have for sale are aliens, like dolls.
Like an Area 51 one of them situation.
Yes,
like
and
Paul.
This is not gray. This is just like white.
Apparently, I missed all the details because I only watched this once.
Is that the first poll? You think aliens? You think Paul? Like that. I think
No,
you're the
no,
only
no. The
person in the
idea
world
of
who
like
that's his go-to.
there's
Paul.
towns in Nevada close to Area 51 that literally do like
Yeah,
you
Roswell.
can buy your alien merch here, and we have like an
I know,
alien
but
themed
most
cafe. And
most people don't go to Paul.
that's the only time
No,
I
but
can
that's
think of it in a movie where
Yeah, that's a
they
thing that
stop
happens in
there.
that movie. Yeah.
Oh, in the movie. Okay.
In the
you're
movie,
thinking
they
of the
stop
alien
there.
Paul.
Oh
Got
no,
it.
yeah.
I thought you were saying like the Greys, like Paul. I was just
He's
like,
not even a gray. He's a green or something.
No.
I don't remember.
I think it'll be very interesting because if somebody else is saying like the gray is like, no, I think these aliens are very clearly styled to be white. So
I like that when you called them the
what do you
whites.
think
And I'm like,
the message is going to be then? Is the message going to be them, I don't know, stealing people and selling them to slavery or something? Intergalactic slavery? Like, what do you think the political message is going to be?
I could not even hazard a guess.
Slavery.
I couldn't even hazard a guess. So I'm not even going to try.
it could be colonizers.
Maybe.
Using that term. Anyway, I dug it. The name itself sells the movie. That's why I only watched the trailer once. I didn't even notice the white aliens.
Oh, yeah. And that's actually an acronym, I think.
Not of planet Earth.
Yes. So deeper meaning all around.
Yeah. I still like my original idea for it was, nice background, where it's like it just reminds me, like the character's like, nope. And he's like, nope. And he gets out of there, like the camera guy in Scream 2. Like people are dying and he's like, your last cameraman dies. Like, nope, I'm out of here. Got the Universal logo behind you guys.
All right. When you think of the Universal logo, so clearly I see where your mind is. For me, I go to dun, 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 the James
For people
Horner
that
one
can't
from, like,
see
the
what
90s.
we're doing, we're changing our backgrounds on Zoom.
I love the 90s Universal one, like before Jurassic Park and Americans. Yeah, I should have never changed it. Anyway,
speaking of which, adjacent to the Earth is the moon. What did you guys think of the Moon Knight trailer? So we've got a Super Bowl trailer that shows the new trailer. I'm sorry, God, the new Disney Plus series Moon Knight. Yeah, I'm struggling for a moment. What'd you guys think? Look good. It's weird. I have very little commentary about it. Like, it looks fun. It looks interesting. I know woefully little about Moon Knight. What I do know, it's very interesting to see people consistently compare him to Batman. Every time I read or see something about him, I think more of the Shadow than I do Batman, which is interesting because the Shadow inspired Batman. So it just goes to show like the historical depths to which people go when they go to reference things. It's like a pond, right? It's so surprisingly limited. But Oscar Isaac starring as Moon Knight. What'd you guys think, Nick?
I liked it better in the first trailer, just because, like, especially after hearing Ethan Hawke's comments about his character being part like Carl Jung, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Like as far as psychiatrist and part cult leader. And what Danny and I kind of guessed on our episode when we were talking about the original quote is that you can very much see that. I was like, maybe he'll like be a psychiatrist, like another movie we won't mention where a psychiatrist was leading a main character down the wrong route. But I like their interaction. I really like the cape scene where he like comes down with the kind of the cape unfurled and it's like the shape
moon.
Yeah, it's more shaped like the moon. It's not like just it could be a Batman-y moment, but it's a very specific shape to the cape. Well, it's just like Batman has a very specific cape thing.
Yeah, it's a very specific cape thing. That's what most people would.
No, but the people make the comparison between Batman and Moon Knight because one of his identities is super rich. That's because they also say like Daredevil's the Batman of the Marvel universe, but he's poor and a lawyer by day. I know in this trailer he doesn't seem rich, but one of his identities is like as rich as Batman or Bruce. But I think that's why the comparison is mainly there. Because there are plenty of wearing a cape, fighting people at night characters on both sides. So those are my thoughts. I really enjoyed it.
Okay. Danny.
Yeah, I'm neither more excited or less excited. I think it did exactly the same things the first trailer did to me. It made me want to watch it. I was very indifferent about it, to be honest with you, in the sense of I still really like it. This still looks good. Move on. They didn't show us anything really new. They gave us a bit more of Moon Knight himself in his, should we say, traditional superhero garb rather than one of his many personalities. But just to your point there, Nick, about the one of his personalities being rich and stuff, I can't see that in this limited series. How many episodes have they dropped? How many it's going to be?
Always
10?
6.
Six.
Yeah.
I don't see how they're going to be able to spend so much time in each of the individual personalities. This has got to be more of a origin story, 6 episodes, right? So comparing him, trying to find the links between how he's like Batman and stuff at this early stage it seems redundant to me. I don't know why people are doing that at all, but like Jonesy, I'm not overly familiar with the character other than the personalities, how he became Moon Knight and stuff. But the comic book run, couldn't tell you much about it. But yeah, I'm still excited as I was when I first saw the first trailer. Nothing's changed.
I think Oscar Isaac is the thing that makes me want to see this more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he's
that first trailer a lot.
Yeah.
Chaining himself to the bed and stuff.
Yeah.
That's horror.
That is horror. But I mean, I like Moon Knight looks good. I'm with Danny completely. Like, this one didn't do anything different from the other one. I'm still excited for it. There was nothing super memorable about it. Though I will say, I feel like 6 hours is plenty of time to really delve into things you want. I mean, just imagine like how much we were able to delve into normally with movies. And now we have like more than twice the amount of time. So I think there is time.
He's got so many personalities. That's what I wondered. That's what I was thinking. Or you think they may just be one or 2 to dive into? Okay.
I mean, we got Split. Speaking of M. Night Shyamalan, we got Split, and we got more than a handful of personalities delved into a bit.
2 hours.
Obviously, it's a very different story, but
Was Patricia rich?
I actually thought there was more than 3, so that would be my mistake. No, I actually thought there was more than that. But 3, Jamie, you're right.
How do you not know about Moon Knight? Everyone knows about Moon Knight.
It's the first series. It's not about 2 characters. Where it's like we have to give time for Kate Bishop and time for Clint Barton. This is like we got all the time to just give Moon Knight his personalities, and that's basically the 2 to 3 characters that we're following.
Fair enough.
And Ethan Hawke.
Looking at it.
I like
it. And Ethan Hawke. His wig, though, seriously bad.
He looks creepy as shit. That's all I care about.
It looks bad. Like it reminds me of like the horrific memories of I think I said this before, Woody Harrelson in the Hunger Games movies. It's on that level of bad wig.
Or
it's on the level of
that far back.
Or Carnage. True, I don't have to go that bad. Like Carnage, or it was the first
Iron Man 3. The wig that what's his face wears the
Guy
beginning.
Pearce.
Yeah, when he's trying to be a loser.
The buck teeth that he wears.
Yeah, and then the wig where he looks like the biggest loser.
Or the wig from I think I mentioned the Suicide Squad. The wig that what's his name wears at the beginning. The white hair Michael Rooker. He wears at the beginning. That wig is bad. Let's just talk about bad wigs. There's one more that I really want to
reshoots. You can tell when it's a reshoot or not because of Sue Storm's hair.
Tom Hanks and in those Robert Langdon movies also go bad.
He could grow that out. It's not that long.
It looks bad.
He also doesn't need it.
Yeah.
Thoughts,
no reason.
Jonesy,
anyway,
further thoughts?
The trailer looks good.
Oh no further thoughts. Moving on.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about something truly strange. I think that this one could have taken up the majority of it, but we'll try and do something real special here. So we got a trailer for Doctor Strange. If you saw No Way Home, you got a little bit of this, but they completely blew the fucking roof off with the Superbowl trailer, showing us things like the Illuminati sentries that presumably are inspired by Stark. We have some better idea of who the villains might be in this. And it turns out that maybe
we also see some Ultrons escorting him, right?
I said
that's what he was talking about.
That said Stark sentries.
Oh, okay.
The reason I didn't say Ultrons is because my presumption is that they haven't been taken over by Ultron and they're still controlled by some Stark variant.
Superior
that's
Iron Man
Cruise.
or whatever it's rumored to be.
And so it turns out that a lot of the concept art that was leaked is correct. We got a version of Professor X fighting Scarlet Witch. So it seems like we'll probably get to see that. Other things that were revealed in this trailer, but also another spot that came out was a better look at Defender Strange, who battles mystic things across the multiverse, which seems a little bit broader than what our Doctor Strange does. There's a lot to unpack in this trailer, so I'm really curious what you guys thought of this. We'll start with, Jammer's food in his mouth. Danny.
I have one. I'm wide open.
That's what she said.
But go. Let's start with me anyway, because I think I've got the least amount to say on this one. After watching it just the once, I'm as confused as fuck.
What? What are you confused about?
Let's much stuff I don't understand in that. So many things I didn't pick up on.
What are your questions? What are your questions?
Well, you'd have to play me the trailer in front and would stop it every 6 seconds and we go, who's that? Why is that? Where's that? Who's she?
All right.
Where are they now?
Boom.
Where are they?
Boom.
Who are they?
Open up
is that
on a
his
dark.
Voice? Why is she talking to him? Why are they together? I'm confused.
So we
fuck.
fade
that
in.
Looks like a Sam
Doctor
Raimi.
Strange.
Okay, there you go.
And a voiceover talking about a nightmare. He sees the Sanctum Sanctorum. He shoots up in bed. Can't breathe. And he looks over at his bed and says that the nightmare begins again. He sees the watch that Christine gives him. Marvel logo.
Okay.
That's
with tentacles moving across it.
With tentacles.
Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange was looking. He was looking nice and cut when he woke up in bed.
Yeah.
His nightmare began, but my dreams started in that moment.
Someone pointed out
nightmare
that
was
his
having to
hands.
get up and go to the gym again.
Someone doesn't think that's the real Doctor Strange because his hands are normal. He doesn't have like the scars. But
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. That what I love about what we've gotten in these trailers recently is there are misdirects, there are things that happen, and with variants and multiverse, like it could be any number of those things. Yeah, you're right, Nick. And also I actually kind of wondered whether or not the Mordo that we're getting in this, it would be interesting to me if the Mordo that we always saw was always from the multiverse and we just didn't know it.
It looks like he's in the Illuminati, just based on some people looking at outlines of people. One of them has a sword and the same haircut as that variant Mordo or whatever.
So let's go through it then. So
wait, you guys are all saying a lot of things, presuming they're all correct. Variant Mordo. Please enlighten me where this is in the trailer.
Yeah, so I'm gonna run through it. So we've got a version of Mordo talking to Doctor Strange.
Why don't you just say Mordo? Why are you assuming a version? Why not just Mordo?
I'm gonna say
if he's Illuminati Mordo, then he knows more about.
How do you know?
How do you know? Shut the face. Here's what happened.
I feel like there's a lot of assumptions being made, is what I'm saying. And you're assuming I know what you're talking about, which I don't.
Here's the thing. I speak halfway like Yoda in that I talk in passive voice rather than active voice. It's very annoying. So I think that it's a version of Mordo. Part of it is I don't know that it is, and I'm saying that based on just what we've seen with variants and all of that other stuff. And in addition to the fact that we are getting a multiverse level Illuminati, what appears to be the MCU version of the Illuminati. And he seems to be familiar with Strange. Now, that could be any version of Strange, but he talks to him with a level of familiarity. And it made me wonder, was the Mordo that we saw in the original movie, the first Doctor Strange, of that Earth? It made me wonder that. And it would be fun if they just kind of played with us like that. To Nick's point about the chairs, he looks like he's walking behind the chairs and is about to take one of those seats.
Yeah.
So all of those things together make me think it's possible that he is one of the Illuminati, and two, wouldn't it be fun if the version of Mordo that we saw was always that same version?
Who always knew about the multiverse, because the Illuminati kind of protect the multiverse in a less sham way than Kang, where it's just
which would make
organization.
The phrase, the bill always comes due, have broader consequences.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
I think I was just annoyed because you're talking as if you're calling him variant Mordo and Illuminati Mordo, as if like that was a sure thing.
I'm gonna get there. Listen, I'm gonna get there. Yeah, I'm gonna.
I know that, but you were speaking to it as if it wasn't speculation,
passive
rather
voice.
that it was specu-fact.
My bad, Professor. Goddamn, I'm gonna get there. I'm going to. I will. I was gonna tell you why, but that essentially is the explanation of why I think that it's possible. We also got to see American Chavez. So that's going to be really interesting. And, I'm sorry. Talking about the things that from the concept art that we got to see. So Patrick Stewart's back. And
is that confirmed?
Yes.
I know it sounds like him. It's
100%.
It's definitely him.
It's him.
Did they actually say that?
No, but he's also like the part of the Illuminati. So I actually don't think that's
still speculation.
We know.
Still speculation. It's probably true. but it's still speculation.
Listen, I know what people sound like. Okay,
Y'all
you know what?
Look like idiots. You guys
I'll tell you what.
WandaVision all over again.
What?
I did immediately slack Danny, who I knew was asleep, and I'm like, dude, Mephisto is in the trailer.
So you're right. Could be wrong.
I don't think it is, but
having
a lot of
watched, yeah, I was gonna say, having watched Patrick Stewart for the majority of my life on The Next Generation and whatever have you show that I've seen him in movie, yeah, like I know what his voice sounds like. That's him.
Okay. I agree. It sounds like him, but we don't know for sure.
Plus, he's been rumored forever.
There is a possibility that I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Now,
the other thing I was going to say is I don't think it's the version that we got in the Fox X-Men movies. And the reason for that is, one, Patrick Stewart seemed pretty adamant that he would not be returning because he thought that the ending of his version of that character was so good.
Which one?
Logan.
Okay.
Logan.
In all fairness, I think he played multiple versions of that character in the X-Men universe.
Even in the X-Men universe.
Maybe those are all variants too.
But what I think is that my assumption is that they were able to get him back. And the reason I say this is looking at the concept art, he is in the wheelchair from the cartoons. And so either he is that same version from the 90s cartoon or just another version that uses that. We never saw the Fox X-Men Professor X in that chair. So I'm fairly certain that it is just a different version than the one we saw in the Fox movies.
So I was saying, like the Illuminati version of B1 that's been off, knowing about the multiverse forever.
Yep.
What do you think of I don't think that's a Captain Marvel variant that's glowing. I think it's Superior Iron Man. But it doesn't look like Tom Cruise. Almost looks like Kang. Like that could be the Iron Lad. Someone zoomed the picture up a lot, and I'm like, that doesn't look like a white Tom Cruise. I mean, it was hard to see the color of the face, but I'm like,
there were a lot of people out there zooming and enhancing on this image. So until I see more, I don't know.
Enhance.
I do think that it would be fun if it was just Tom Cruise, who was long rumored to be playing. Well, actually, not long rumored. He wanted to be Tony Stark for the longest time. It just didn't work out for multiple reasons. I'm really curious. So to wrap up part of the discussion on the Illuminati, in the original version of the Illuminati, in the 616 universe, we had Mr. Fantastic, Iron Man, Professor X, Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, Black Panther, and Namor. Of those people, it would be really interesting to me if they brought back Mr. Fantastic from the Fox cartoon.
Well, I mean, the rumor.
Eon Gruffydd.
Yeah, but there's so many rumors. The rumor is this will be the John Krasinski will be this version, and then we might get an entirely different actor for.
I don't want John Krasinski.
Yeah, me neither. I hate that guy.
I want it. It's not that I hate him. I want it to be the guy from the Fox.
I take that.
Fox Fantastic Four. Just
not Fan Force, not Miles Teller, but
no.
Chris Evans' friend.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's Eon Gruffydd, the one from the King Arthur movie.
That's it.
Also, sorry, were you gonna say?
I was just agreeing. You're right. Ewan Gruffydd was the fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah. And it looks like there is a version of Black Panther on this Illuminati. So I'm very curious about that, given what Marvel has said about all of this.
And it is rumored that Black Bolt from the TV show that isn't canon, the same actor might be in it.
Same actor.
Yeah. That's a rumor, but there are lots of rumors.
Same guy that's playing Christopher Pike right now.
Oh, that's the same dude? He was so good as Pike, and he looked so terrible as Black. That is his face.
I'm fairly certain it's the same
Anston
actor.
Mount or something?
Yeah, Anson
Mount, who works for Paramount.
Is that how we're remembering names now?
I just saw it because there was the Paramount ad where he was playing Pike, where Dora the Explorer is like leading them on the mount. And
other things that happened in this trailer, we've got, looks like the zombies from What If. And so I'm curious whether or not you guys, who is the villain of this?
That.
You don't like that?
I don't like them bringing What If into my live action movies.
So not only
poster.
Nick's about to say it. Go ahead.
There's also the poster where you see Captain Britain's, like, there's a lot of speculation about the poster. Someone's like, that looks like Deadpool or Spider-Man, and it's like enhance.
I'm just saying, I don't like it.
One of them has.
Are you being serious? Are you trolling or are you being serious?
No, I just don't like that I have to now go and finish What If because I didn't like.
You don't have to do anything. You don't have to finish it.
I got bored. After I watched the Doctor Strange. I was like, that.
You don't. Nobody's telling you. Nobody's got a gun to your head. Nobody's.
It looks like that Strange is in this also.
Yes.
Yeah, Doctor Strange.
Yep.
I forgot. I think they call him like the Sorcerer Supreme. I don't know. He had a
Supreme Strange, something like that.
Supreme Strange. Yeah.
Supreme.
Supreme.
It would be interesting to see if Defender Strange does he become a zombie? I'm really curious who the villains of this are going to be, because my assumption is that the variant of Wanda that we see sans costume later in the trailer gets locked up, and I think that that's the conversation that costume Wanda is having with Doctor Strange about, you do the same, like we did the same thing and I got locked up for it. And I think that's what she's talking about. Like the Illuminati locked her up.
And then there's also like when she's using a lot of powers in the trailer, if you look, it's the Illuminati base.
Yeah. Yep.
You guys are inferring so much from this trailer. I'm just like, I'm lost.
I'm not telling you what is. I'm just saying, like, wouldn't it be interesting if? What if?
And then there's obviously trickery if it's a Marvel trailer.
You guys are pulling specific things, and I'm like, how do you remember how I just don't see it.
You've been working all week. That's part of your problem. You need to stop paying so much attention to work.
That's fair.
I thought it looked great though. I mean, there's 1,000 things to get out of it, and it very, very Raimi. One of the things people pointed out is like there's just pictures from all of his movies, and it's all about zooming into the eye. Like we get at one point, and it's like, thank you, Raimi.
Scarlet Witch.
And they make a big deal about like from Sam Raimi. They don't always do that with the Marvel movies.
What's funny is that you say that, like there are aspects of it like that, but this seems like the least Sam Raimi movie that I've ever seen. Like there are aspects of his movie.
From the trailer, from the trailer, I didn't get much Sam Raimi at all. The one thing that sticks in my mind is there was a zoom in shot of Scarlet Witch. I thought, that's the kind of shot that we're kind of familiar with him, but it did seem like the less of a Sam Raimi trailer and just a whole lot of stuff and images thrown at us that people that know a lot more than me, like you guys, are talking about. But I didn't feel Sam Raimi until that one shot of Scarlet Witch.
I would say the tone is more Raimi, just doing horror.
Which I'm kind of happy about, if I'm honest. I'd rather not have all that gimmickry just to tell the story. I think there's enough of a chaotic story going on by the looks of it already without having weird and wonderful shots going on all the time and cameras floating up people's asses and ears and shit.
And can Raimi balance this many characters, especially after Spider-Man 3?
If they could fucking pull this off, like I will.
It's like Spider. I mean, not Into the Spider, but
No Way
Home, where I was worried a lot. Like, can they really balance all these characters, or is it going to be a mess?
Or even Endgame, right? Good. Like any of that stuff. Like
those are the Russo brothers, though, so I have complete faith.
But they're not writing it.
Yeah.
No, but they've paired up with the same writers every time.
He's in a big studio. He's got a big team around him. He's got the Marvel machine around him. He's going to guide him, help him, reel him back in, help him a lot. He's got the writers. He's got Feige, etc. I think it's definitely a different time compared to when Spider-Man 3 was being made, etc. It's a completely different world for him to be in. He's grown as a director. He's made some shit. He's made some good stuff. I think we'll be all right. I don't think it's a mistake by any way.
I think we're past the point where we're gonna have a movie that's just like embarrassingly bad from Marvel. I don't think it's gonna happen.
No more Eternals movies coming out.
Eternals wasn't bad.
It's not embarrassingly bad. It's fine. It's serviceable. That was the trailer I was most excited about.
Anything else on Doctor Strange?
I'm good.
Well, we won't have to wait long. Film comes out in May, so Jammer
is it really?
Yeah.
Wow. I think it's actually the first or second week of May. So it's
probably
May 6th.
That's their tradition.
May 6th.
Yeah. As is tradition since 2002. I think every year but one we've had a superhero movie either last week of April or first week of May.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So at that point we'll be able to tell Jammer to either fuck off or like, God damn it, you were right about all the speculation.
I'm sure a lot of what you said is right.
Man,
I'm just saying the way you're talking about
just
it
sound
was a lot
super
of
down.
You're assuming a lot. Here's the thing.
It's like I'm defending a goddamn thesis.
You guys were talking about it as if it was true, and I wanted to make sure, like, wait, did I miss something?
Mr.
Was
Jones,
something confirmed?
have you thought about this? Like, goddamn.
Did Patrick Stewart come out and actually say, yes, I am in it? Because y'all are talking about it as if he did.
That's like saying if I'm watching something and I hear and I see an actor, you're like, well, is there a news article saying that they're in it? Like, no, but I know his voice.
Yeah. It's like I'm really good at car commercials and being like, hey, John Cena's doing a car commercial, which there is a John Cena car commercial on all the time right now. I'm really good at getting actors' voices.
Okay. I'm just saying, you know, I like facts more than I like speculation. And I like speculation to be brought in with the thing saying, hey, this is speculation, but that sounds an awful like Patrick Stewart, as opposed to saying, yeah, so when Patrick Stewart came into the trailer and we're definitely going to be having this, it's like, well, hold on a second, let's back up.
He didn't say definitely about anything. Well, definitely Illuminati.
Yeah, I'm exaggerating for comedic effect, okay? It's called insert name of method of debate here that I don't remember. It's a way to make him look silly and me look smart.
Yeah, it did make you look really smart.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
I'm in a combative mood this week.
And so here's the thing. I don't disagree
Pugilist.
that there's a possibility that I'm wrong. I don't. Yeah, that's it.
Because I remember when we didn't speculate at all about No Way Home. It's not like speculation is part of the Marvel trailer.
But again,
process.
speculation's fine. But let me know it's speculation. Don't say it as if it's fact and then confuse me into thinking I missed something.
You did miss something.
I will say Xavier is fact. Based on the leaked, not just the voice definitely, but then the leaked concept art, which matches up with the trailer pretty close. And it came out before the trailer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless we've got our first really entirely fake trailer.
Wouldn't that be fucked up
none
if
of
it
it's
turned
in
out
the
to be
movie.
Vin Diesel? Like that was Vin Diesel's bald head and he somehow imitated Patrick Stewart.
No, you know what would be fun is if it was oh God, what's his name? Who's the younger version of
McAvoy?
Professor X? Yeah. If they were just like, hey, we're gonna
Stewart's
play his voice. Yeah, we're just gonna like that's how they're gonna fuck with us. That'd be awesome. I would love that.
That would actually be pretty awesome.
I'd rather
you'll
get
look
Patrick
like fucking
Stewart
idiots.
than McAvoy.
I would love to be wrong if it was that level of fucked up. Anything else about the Multiverse of Madness before we move on to something else?
Well,
it looks good.
It wasn't Deadpool. I'll say this: it wasn't Deadpool in that picture.
No.
If
Mephisto.
Anything at all, it was a Spider-Man, but it was not Deadpool. And that's purely speculation, Jammer, because it could be Deadpool.
Or it could be nothing at all. That image is so enhanced, so blurry. You're like, at first I didn't even see it, and I was like, oh, I guess that's kind of a face. It's on
the poster.
The poster has
really
a lot of
shit one, Jammer.
It's a poster.
Oh, it's awful.
And like you can see some stuff, like I said, clearly, like Captain Carter's shield. But the Deadpool one, it seems like almost a reach if it's Deadpool or Spider-Man or anything, even in that shard of glass.
Could be Mephisto.
Yeah, it could be. The big M.
They can't include Mephisto now in anything. They can't.
That's Marvel fucking with us. He's never going to be in anything ever.
Or it'd be better if, like, in a trailer, they actually revealed it, like Doomsday style at the end of BVS, where they have I'm Mephisto, and then he's not in the movie at all.
He's not in the film.
We got one of those head fakes in Uncharted, like a scene that was in the trailer that did not appear in the movie.
There were a few of those.
Yeah. Although the last thing I'll say about the Multiverse of Madness, it is very cool that they're getting Professor X to interact with Wanda Maximoff. So we're like inching closer and closer to House of M type stuff.
Yeah.
No, any version like, oh, you're saying it's not Professor X at all. Like
I'm saying once again, it's not. No, I think it is. But again, it's not fact yet. It's not fact yet.
Let's move on.
Yeah, I'm
spinning our wheels. We're spinning our tank tracks.
Danny, am I
on
crazy?
The way to Ukraine.
Am I crazy, Danny?
It's not that you're
right.
crazy. It's the phrase. Like you're just like you're very combative. You're like no. This is how we will talk.
Speculation.
This is kind of weak.
Go to the asterisk. Where is the asterisk?
Well, I'm just thinking about it from the mindset of also the listener.
This is the Mr.
who's
Hyde
just like,
version.
what the fuck
of
are you
Jammer.
guys talking
So
about?
we got
Like, what are you
Dr.
talking
Jammer
about?
and Mr. Hyde. You start speculating Mr. Hyde Jammer comes out. Put that Dr. Jammer back.
Dr. Jammer, Mr. Hyde. I love it.
Star Trek is back. Star Trek is back.
Fuck yeah.
So we've got reports coming out now that
Hold on. Are these confirmed?
Yes. It's a Variety article, I believe.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It
I'm
wasn't
kidding.
Jean-Luc
yeah, he's
Picard
dead. Like
in
that,
Mark
didn't you?
Mayhem.
What's crazy to me is this movie is coming out in 2023. So anyway, we've got a film directed by Matt Shakman, who
WandaVision.
has not.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No,
Well,
no,
he's
you go
done. He
ahead.
hasn't done. He's
You
done
go
one
ahead.
theatrical
You
film,
go to- Okay,
and he's done like WandaVision. It's Always Sunny, Succession, etc., etc., etc. But
What's his feature film that he's done?
I don't remember.
Cut Bank, starring Liam Hemsworth and Billy Bob Thornton.
We've
I has
all
it in my
heard of it
notes.
and seen it.
It's a 2015 indie film, starring those two individuals. That's his one feature film. But, you know, like Nick has said, he is television famous, basically. A couple other ones is Fargo, Psych, Mad Men, House,
Psych.
Happy Endings, Game of Thrones. Like if there is a A-list property that you like on television, he might have done an episode of it. So that is the one thing that gives me some hope in this, because one of the things that Jammer posted was a question about what happened to Quentin Tarantino's version of Star Trek. And a lesser part of that question is what happened to Noah Hawley's, right? So there was a period of time where that was a big part of the discussion.
Which would have been great.
So a couple of things that they talked about, it sounds like some studio executives went around and determined that there was still some interest in a Christopher Pine, Zachary Quinto led Star Trek film. So they did some market research and people still wanted to see it. But it just sounds like it just is died on the vine, an accurate way to put this. It sounded like the studio wanted to inject some excitement into the franchise, and Quentin Tarantino was the way that they were going to do it. The executive that was there at the time, and I can't remember her name, she just left. And so it seemed like they put the franchise on pause so they could figure out what they were going to do with it. And so the Quentin Tarantino idea was something that percolated up while the franchise was on pause. And it just kind of went nowhere. He'd even partnered with the Revenant writer to bring this story to fruition. And it sounded like it was going to be based on the original series, the original series episode, Piece of the Action.
Episode 17, season 1.
Shut the fuck up.
Let him talk.
Let give him more context.
Which is based on an original series episode where a society was visited 100 years prior by Starfleet. And so the society on this particular planet emulated the 1930s Chicago gangster style type stuff. So Quentin Tarantino, big fan of the original series, big fan of William Shatner, was going to try and bring some version of this to the big screen. It sounded very interesting. I think I was of two minds about it, much like Roddenberry's son, who seemed to be very reticent about the idea as well. So given all of that setup, Jammer, you posted the story. What do you think about all of this?
So I think it did come on the heels of, the 2016 Star Trek Beyond. And as you mentioned, it wasn't the strongest way to exit the franchise. As much as people really like Star Trek Beyond, it still couldn't crack, that sort of next level of success that Star Wars has been afforded. And I think it was probably especially underwhelming that it was generally considered to be a good film. Like, a lot of people love it. Personally, I actually think it's my least favorite of the three, but I'm a fucking weird Star Trek fan in that I like it when my Star Trek is Star Wars. So that's just me. That's my opinion. But I can imagine them at that point really trying to find a way, as Jonesy said, to shake things up, and to really explore other options. And what has it been, 3 years since the first Tarantino story came out? They're about 2-3 years.
More than, I think it's like 2017 maybe.
Yeah.
So that came at a time when they were really kind of desperate and figuring out, what do we do with this franchise? But in that time, as Nick points out every fucking week, there are a million other amazing Star Trek projects out there that are doing really well, that fans are loving. And I almost feel like now it's like they don't have to rely on, I guess, for lack of a better term, a big publicity stunt Star Trek film in order to re-engage interest in the franchise. So maybe that's sort of like the way why things sort of petered out, why they kind of went away, and then why we're kind of getting back to the Kelvin timeline with a new Star Trek movie with all these familiar faces. So, and that's kind of how I see it. I've got, it's a lot of speculation, but I could see it's just crazy how long it's gone, without a Star Trek movie. It's like, what, 8 years? No, 6 years. Calm down. 6 years since the last one. And I never thought we'd get another one, but here we are. Yeah.
Well, I wish they were still. I still like the premise when they were going to make Star Trek 4 with, and it fell apart because of the premise, because they wanted to have
Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, they wanted to bring back Chris Hemsworth from before we ever saw him in Thor. He was the opening sequence of Star Trek as Kirk's father.
So we don't know that that's not happening, right?
Well, it might be. It sounds like this is a brand new take on it, but definitely. God, you're distracting with those backgrounds.
Starfleet headquarters, San Francisco.
Oh, true.
Get shit together.
But God, I lost my train of thought because you changed the fucking background.
You're talking about
it might still be that, but it was also interesting to me that I forgot this is one of the movies that was announced years ago that Matt Shakeman was going to do one, and now the review, and then it was complete mystery. It's like, would it be a Discovery movie? Would it be an original movie with different cast, or even not a redoing of the original cast, but just like a whole new team we've never seen? Because at the time it was the question of, do people want to see these exact actors come back, considering it doesn't make as much money as even a Mission Impossible as far as Paramount is concerned. But no, here's also how Mission Impossible. Here's how Mission Impossible really comes into it. Stop it. Here's how Mission Impossible really comes into it. This movie's coming out before Mission Impossible 8, which is already shooting. And it's like, why'd they push the Mission Impossible so far back that you have a movie you haven't even started production on that you're going to release before a movie that's already shooting? Do they have more faith in Trek? Do they have less faith in Trek?
I think they have more. I think they have more. Like, I think if I were, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. If I were a studio head, I think I would have more faith in it that you can rely on what has been happening on TV to really bolster your numbers. So you can even lean in harder to what are considered to be the strengths of Star Trek over something like Star Wars, and then make it more in line with the franchise with these characters who other people like. Yeah, like Beyond. Because
I really like that one because it let them split off and you get character moments with like Spock and Bones, which is my favorite pairing. Especially this version of Bones. I love DeForest Kelly, but Carl Urban's like my boy. So
okay. Danny is a relatively new. Actually, I guess both you and Nick, I probably consider yourselves newer Star Trek fans, right?
2009 for me. And I watched the original series right after the movies. Yeah. The movie.
How do you feel about this?
I'm in that camp of another film with these actors playing these characters. I'd be more than happy with. I found something to enjoy in all the previous, most recent Star Trek movies. I enjoyed them. I'd be happy to see another one. But as we've been chatting on on our Slack channel and stuff recently, I've really been enjoying the new TV shows. So I'm quite happy, quite content to have Star Trek being as good as it is at the moment on the streaming services on TV. I'm not necessarily desperate to have another movie on the big screen. I'm really happy with the TV at the moment. So this news was, okay, that's great. When it comes out, someone tell me and I'll go and watch it. But I'm not super excited about it. The second season of Picard, etc., and watching the new season of Discovery, which I haven't watched yet, I'm excited about that more than I am about another film coming out, possibly, maybe, using whatever storyline, whatever. So, yeah, I'm happy with the TV at the moment. I'm impressed with Star Trek TV.
Well, we won't have to tell you when it's coming out, because I'm sure we'll be bombarded with ARDs. ads on Paramount Plus as soon as.
I think you're right, Danny, and that's something I hadn't even really thought of at the time when Star Trek 2009 came out. Like, there was a dearth, right? There was hardly any Star Trek around, and now we are in what is essentially a Star Trek renaissance. You like cartoons, you've got Prodigy, you've got Strange New Worlds coming out, you've got the Section 31 show coming out, you got Discovery, you've got Lower Decks. Like, it's just, yeah, I keep getting Picard. You got Picard. So I'm pretty satisfied. And to Jammer's point, while 3 Beyond did not end, it wasn't a perfect ending for that franchise. It felt like it could have been. It did not end on like a cliffhanger or anything like that. Like, I very much felt like Anton Yelchin could have just gone over to the Excelsior. I felt like what was her name? I can't think of her name.
Jayla.
I felt like she could have become the new engineer. Yes, she could have been the new engineer on the ship, and they go on having adventures and doing whatever. And in my mind, that was canon, and that was fine.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do next. I'm kind of hoping that they wrap it up with this 4th film.
Do it like Mission Impossible 8, where it is meant to be the ending.
Well, they've been these characters since 2009.
I know.
And while we've only gotten 3, now 4 films in production, I feel like that's enough. I'm okay. And then just let it happen on television for the rest of the time.
Especially since we know it's not going to be a giant blockbuster unless things have really changed. Because I think part of the popularity at home is that it's at home.
I think Star Trek, here's my
better as TV.
Here's my conspiracy brain at work. I think the reception of the sequel trilogy for Star Wars makes Paramount think that they have an opening.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we've got a space franchise. And that might be the reason why they've hit the go button on it. So, Nick, to your point about like, how the fuck are they getting this movie out so quickly? Or like, how are they pushing this movie out?
Before the next Star Wars movie?
I think that's part of it. It wouldn't surprise me. And they've got, so Danny, Jammer, they've got the stuff on television that people seem to be enjoying. They're like, we are now back in the zeitgeist. We are now back in people's minds, which at the time, 2009 and Into Darkness and beyond, they weren't really, but now they are. And so I think that they feel like they can use being in the minds of average consumers as a place to fill that hole that non-television Star Wars is kind of left. So movie version of Star Wars is kind of, they fumbled the bag. That's my conspiracy brain at work.
I like it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Anything else on Star Trek? Anything?
Engage.
All right.
Or punch it. Let's fly.
Uncharted. So Uncharted is the newest video game movie to try and take a stab at, is it a good video game movie? We've already talked about the metrics at the top of the show. And again, this stars Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland and is directed by Ruben Fleischer. Danny, since you're on a tight timeline, give us your thoughts. We already kind of talked about them last week, but double them on us.
Yeah, I watched it. I was lucky enough, one of those rare times when I actually got the movie a week before you guys. So I watched it last week. And I remember distinctly, overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun popcorn flick, very much Indiana Jones mixed with National Treasure, that kind of fun afternoon at the movies kind of feeling. My only slight worry was in the beginning when I thought, well, are we just having another young Peter Parker bumbling young fool kind of thing? But that quickly changed. Nathan Drake wasn't that after the first 5 or 10 minutes. It then went into what I hoped it would be, which is just a fun action adventure with archaeological stuff thrown in, some history thrown in, jumping from location to location for an action scene. The actors seem to get on well with each other. They seem to interact with each other. There's some nice chemistry with all of them. There were some nice fun plots and twists and humor, comedic moments. So overall, I actually really enjoyed it for what it was. don't get me wrong, I'm not desperate to watch it again, and I'm not like can't wait for Uncharted 2 to come out, but I actually thought it was a lot of fun. I left the cinema thinking, yeah, that was an enjoyable way to spend a couple of hours. I'm happy I saw that. That was a good escape. So yeah, so overall I enjoyed it.
I remember the director of Spider-Man saying that when he came back, Tom Holland, he had to have a conversation like, hey, look, dude, you got to take some of that swagger out of your step. You know, you got to get that Nathan Drake out of you. Did you feel that was true? Did you sense that? Because you said you expressed some worry at the beginning.
Yeah, I think I don't know the order that they shot the scenes of the movie and stuff, but I certainly felt there was times when Nathan Drake changed through the film. At certain points, he was much more mature, grown up. I could believe him being this person more. But at the beginning of the movie, I felt he was more the first. What was the first Spider-Man called with Tom Holland? Homecoming. Yeah, I felt he was a little bit like that, and I'm like, I can't buy you as this big action hero when you're looking like a goofy little kid stumbling through life. But that soon changed. That's what I was happy about. So I think whatever conversation happened, it worked. But there were certain moments in the film where it did feel like he was being a bit more Peter Parker than Nathan Drake. But overall, it didn't take me out of the film very much. Just a couple of scenes, a couple of moments.
2 more questions for you before you fuck off. Did you have a PlayStation 3? And what letter grade would you give this? So did you have a PlayStation 3? Did you play this game franchise?
No. PlayStation. No, I was always Xbox or Nintendo. Never had a PlayStation.
Look at you, little fan.
And letter grade. I'm going to have to go C+.
Okay.
Not quite a B, but definitely a C+.
Where did it let you down?
I think overall it was, honestly, quick answer to that question, there was a lot of stuff I haven't or I've already seen before. That was kind of it. And I know, we haven't seen 2 ships, spoiler alert, 2 fucking old pirate ships swinging in the air under a helicopter, but we have seen Fast and Furious, and there's lots more nonsense than that. So we've seen a lot of that stuff. But that's not necessarily a big letdown. It just felt like, okay, action set piece, but it was done well. So that was kind of what it is. I've seen some of that stuff before.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to say before you leave?
Only that even though I'd seen some of that stuff before, I did enjoy the interaction between the characters. I think that elevated it up again. So yes, I'd seen that action before, but these guys worked well together, had fun together, and that made me enjoy it. So
great chemistry.
That's why I think it was less of an impact for me.
I thought Wahlberg and Holland had great chemistry.
Groovy.
So. Yeah.
Well, thank you, sir. I don't want to belay your exit.
Yeah, apologies. I will see you down the road. I have to go now and apparently try and earn some money. So I'll see you soon.
I don't know. Guys. Is that speculation? Are you going to see me?
Well, I will. I could answer that, but I'd have to kill you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Should we jump?
Gone.
I assume Jammer doesn't want the movie spoiled.
I don't care.
He cares.
Oh, you don't care? We can say Uncharted then.
Yeah,
let's jump into spoilers with our thoughts.
I agree.
Okay, spoilers, people.
Janie.
I
think Danny set us up good to jump into spoilers. Nick, what did you think of this film? Give me all your thoughts. Spoilers.
Okay, so I agree with what he said. You know, it's National Treasure. It's Indiana Jones. I also felt a little bit of Pirates of the Caribbean in there. Not just because of the ships.
Not because they said it.
Did they say that? I know they also reference Indiana Jones directly.
He called him Jack Sparrow.
Oh, and one of my favorite lines is nuns. Why did it have to be nuns? Because sometimes they hit it, or even like when the water's filling up, it felt just like I was expecting him to say the Harrison Ford line, like, we are going to die.
Right.
But I also think there's obviously some James Bond in there, just like it was originally, this grew out of him pitching young James Bond.
Yeah.
And so
I want a martini.
Yeah, exactly. The martini moment. And there's definitely, I think it's a combination of all those, for better or for worse. Sometimes it did feel a little slow, or like, you know, whenever someone's like, it's like Indiana Jones, I'm like, the quality is nowhere near there, nor did I expect it to be. And I've never been a National Treasure fan, and I think it has some of the negative elements from even like Da Vinci Code, which I also compared it to. Like, I thought more of it was going to be on the island, and less of it was going to be going through like catacombs of Spain or Barcelona.
Yeah.
There were a lot of good twists in it, though. Like, everyone was betraying everyone at like every point to a point where it felt like Indiana Jones 5,
or Pirates.
But it's just like, yeah, every like, can you trust Sully? Can you trust this girl? Is Antonio Banderas just had his throat slit? Like, I thought he was the main villain, stuff like that.
I mean, he was for 5 minutes.
Yeah. But I mean, and even like the Scottish accent thing was so funny.
It was funny.
I think the humor works really well in it. And like I said earlier, I think Mark Wahlberg and Holland have fantastic chemistry.
So Nick, you bringing up James Bond reminded me of something, and I forgot to ask Danny before he popped off, but he's still on Slack, so I was able to ask him, can Tom Holland be Bond? Danny said no. So our resident Brit was like, fuck no. Yeah, so that's not happening. You bring up something else interesting talking about some of these scenes. A lot of the scenes that you're referencing were in the trailer. And they still played well, but it makes me hate movie trailers even more. I'm just kind of tired of this trend of consistently getting some of the best moments spoiled.
Like the pirate ships.
Or even the end of the fucking movie, right?
I don't know. I remember when you asked that question. You're like, do you think that's the end of the movie? It was worse. It was one of the post-credit sequences. Yeah.
And it's just like, I get it, but I don't want that. So for me, hold on. Excuse me, not COVID. So while I enjoyed it, I think where the movie lost me a little bit was at the end. And it wasn't necessarily what Danny said about having seen it before. I didn't think it was particularly well done. So up until the point where they're on the ships, they seem to have done a decent job not doing a lot of quick cuts and things of that nature. But when they got on that ship, it was like quick cut after quick cut after. And it took me out of the action so much that it was hard for me to enjoy. I didn't think the action in that part was done well. And so up until that point, all of the things that you referenced, like I enjoyed the banter, I enjoyed their chemistry. And it was fun seeing like little Easter eggs, like they got the original voice of Nathan Drake in there.
Yeah, that was a very obvious cameo, like almost too obvious, where it's like kept pointing the camera at him.
Just kept talking.
And I only knew that I wouldn't have recognized him, but I heard that he was going to have a cameo in it. So I'm like, that must be the voice actor. Like the Django cameo from the other Django. It's just so in your face, like cameo.
So the odd thing about that is I almost preferred the Django cameo.
Oh, I do
more. It just felt too forced. I like that he was in there. Danny said he's the perfect age to play James Bond.
Referring to himself.
Yes.
It's like Idris Elba's too old, Tom Holland's too young. I'm the perfect age.
He's the perfect porridge.
Oh, fuck no, Jammer.
Jammer is pausing that Aaron Taylor Johnson should be James Bond. You mean the forgettable soldier? The forgettable soldier from everything.
That's the best part is you could save money on your budget because you can have him play every other role and you won't be able to tell the difference.
So yeah, I liked it up until that point. And I think that I'd probably be about a B or B minus overall on this movie. I would watch another one. I'm not like itching for another one, but if they were like, hey, the sequel's coming out, I'd be like, yeah, I'll definitely watch that.
And the ending works more as a joke than it does as the post-credit sequence than it does as an actual setup for a sequel, where like Back to the Future's
I was about to say, like a Back to the Future thing.
Or even Super Mario, where it's like, they're going into a sequel. This is almost like a new mini adventure starts, and they ran out the door, and we don't even see who's pointing guns at them, but they're like, oh shit. Do you remember the trailer, Jammer? It's the scene with the mustache. That's the post-credit scene.
He's like, what is that on your face? He's like, don't worry, puberty's right around the corner. You can grow your own.
Yeah.
That was in the trailers?
Yeah, yes. And that's the post-credit scene.
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all from the trailers.
Because I'll say what I said about Death on the Nile. It's all an origin movie for the mustache. The first scene of Death on the Nile. Mustache origin story.
I think the thing that really does sustain me throughout the course of this movie is the interactions between Holland and Wahlberg. I think they're really fun together. Like there are some lines that they say together. Like there's a part where they're trying to hide from the bad guys, and Tom Holland gets down in a small space, and Wahlberg is like, "What is it with you in small spaces? Like, come down here for a quick cuddle." No, I think he said something more like, "You can either get your head blown off, or you can come down here for a quick cuddle." And so, like, lines like that, it kind of take you out of the Spider-Man stuff, but also, like, I just thought that was very funny. Speaking of which, did you notice the Spider-Man Easter egg in this that they also put in the trailer?
I don't remember it.
So the scene where he's on the airplane and he gets onto the
that was intentional. I thought it was just because he was too much like Peter Parker. Like when he's jumping across the things, that he kind of hits a Spider-Man landing on one of them.
So he hits a Spider-Man landing, but then the car that hits him is a spider.
Oh,
so that is a Mercedes-Benz. It's a 1957.
Never would know that.
Roadster. But so Roadsters, those kinds of convertibles are often referred to as spiders, spelled S-P-Y-D-E-R.
That's
the joke. That's the joke. You strike the pose, then you get hit by a spider.
I was afraid with that opening sequence.
Everybody laugh.
Yeah. Joke over.
That's the joke. That's the joke, Sony. We get it.
No, but I enjoyed it overall. It was. I wouldn't have seen it if not for the podcast. Probably ever, because that's one of those movies. It's like I'll catch it when it comes out on streaming, and then I see it on streaming. I'm like, eh.
What's your letter grade?
I'll agree with you. Well, it's either B- or C+. It's really hard for me because I'm gonna say C+. Because again, I probably would never watch it again, but I would watch a sequel. But I don't have high hopes for its box office. I just don't know if the audience is there.
Okay, interesting. We'll see. I'm very curious about that.
They did for Alamo Drafthouse, the pre-show. They had a YouTube video of a guy finding all the weirdest like breaking moments in the game, like glitches. And it was just fun. They're like, in this one, he stretches out like Mr. Fantastic, or like if you do this exact jump in this place, like you can launch yourself out of the world. It's just
that
was fun to watch.
There's one more thing that I think is interesting about the transition from being a video game to a movie. There was a lot of conversation that people were having around the video game about it was difficult to believe that this person was who he was, given that between the cutscenes, he was basically a murder bot. Like he killed so many people, like his body count was so high that to have him be like this jokey kind of like it just, they thought it was incongruent. So it was interesting in this that wasn't even a factor. Like I don't remember how many, if anybody, he
may have kicked someone off the side. And the first guy he kills in the opening sequence, this is very much a Peter Parker line. He's like, sorry. But he doesn't even, he apologizes to the first guy he kind of has to kill, but doesn't directly kill to survive.
Yeah. So I think that was an interesting, like they went all the way to the left on it. They just completely sidestepped that quote unquote.
I think that improves the character then the way you described it. I will say of all the movie is obviously full of unbelievable shit. Like, if you think about stuff logically, which you shouldn't with these types of movies, but still, I was like, those ships would have broken in half before they even lifted them out. Like that wood is old and rotted. You can't just lift up a ship without it collapsing.
Hey, English oak, strong.
I will ask, you played the games then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is this, I know the cargo scene is from one of the games, right?
Yeah.
Is any of the plot otherwise from the games?
I did not play them
ships
all.
Or anything.
I didn't play them all.
Okay.
I probably played. Like I know that the part with him driving the boat is out of 4. But other than that, it's really weird. I have very little recollection of these games. I've only played 2 out of 4 of them, and like I said, mostly what I remember is like killing people. Lots and lots.
The Sony logo is very interesting because it's like the DC logo where it shows you a bunch of Sony characters. And you're like, how many of these guys are you going to turn into movies?
Well, that's probably the idea. They're like, do you like this?
When they showed so many, I was like, oh, are these all actually planned? Or it was like the DC one, they show so many people who they'll probably never get to. Then again, Hawkman's one of the ones I always spot, and we had footage of Hawkman. They actually put that in front of my movie. They had the Batman trailer, then they had the YouTube video as a trailer where it's like in 2022, the world needs heroes.
They've already made Ratchet and Clank into a movie.
Yeah.
So they've got 2.
Terrible movie.
It's fine.
Didn't see it. No interest.
It was terrible.
Give me Sly Cooper in live action.
That'd be awesome.
Okay. Give me Klonoa.
The fuck is that?
Really? PlayStation.
No,
2
I'm
game.
kidding. No, I just remember there was recently a Nintendo Direct, and on that Direct they had a Klonoa remake from the last generation or the generation before.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about Klonoa since PlayStation, and it seemed like a good time to bring it up. That's it. I have
It's
no
never
other
a good time to bring it
insights.
up. All right. So those are our reviews that is our review of Uncharted, Seat at Your Peril. It's fine. It's a good time. Turn your brain off. It's fine. You guys want to talk Peacemaker?
Fuck yeah.
Let's talk some Peacemaker. I'm ready. I'm ready to discuss what might be one of the best shows that I've seen in the past year, I would say, maybe. And there have been some good shows as well in that time period. Of course, we have Squid Game. We have Arcane. We have all of the Marvel shows. We have Book of Boba Fett. We have just lots of fun shows that have happened.
Cowboy Bebop.
Especially many of which Cowboy Bebop. And many of which are based. I mean, I liked most of it, and then I got bored at the tail end of it because I was just like, all right, I'm bored. Anyways, Peacemaker has been a welcome surprise. I did not know what to expect from this one. Of course, it's James Gunn, but at the same time, you never know. You never know. He wasn't a character that really got me super juiced and like excited, being like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to see fucking Peacemaker on TV." Yeah, in the movie.
He's funny, but you're like, yeah, there's not much to him. And
I remember thinking to myself in that moment in the Suicide Squad when he got shot through the neck and died, and I was thinking, we fucking fell for it. James Gunn has been trolling us.
I thought it was a prequel series before that.
We're not getting a Peacemaker show. And obviously we were actually getting a Peacemaker show, but I was between that and between, I was just like, the character was fine. I just wasn't super stoked for it. From episode 1, it have proven it's just amazing character work. Funny dialogue, sure, it's funny, it's amusing and all that, but above all else, he's really great at doing character arcs, taking unlovable people and making them likable, even if they're not lovable, and getting us to care for the different aspects of him and of them. And it works for Peacemaker, who's just an awful person, a murderer. Pretty much every ist you can give, except for racist. He's not, surprisingly enough, not very racist, which is interesting. Not intentionally racist, considering his upbringing, son of a white supremacist. And I've been wondering this whole time, like, all right, how is he going to land the show? How is he going to land the show? Is it going to do well? And I think he stuck it pretty darn well. I think the climax is a lot of fun. We get further deepening of the characters. We get a little bit extra, an unexpectedly tear-jerking moment from Economos with his beard situation of why he calls him dye beard. It just makes it. That's the thing I like about James Gunn. He takes these little things and it's just like, oh, that's funny, but then he makes it really kind of sad, and he does it consistently throughout this show. And that was just like one moment. And I think I have 2 overall complaints about this show in its entirety. Number 1 was the second to last episode, or I think it was the second last episode, where they stupidly got out of the car and where he was like running really far to like take all the helmets out so his dad couldn't track them, when they could have just knocked it out and they could have kept driving. That could have been 5 seconds, but instead they all got out of the car, and then he decided to pick up the bag and like carry it over toward the racists, and then it was just stupid. It felt something like for the awkward. It felt
super easy, barely an inconvenience.
It felt like awkward TV blocking, where stupid, it makes no sense.
No, I know. It's like they joke in all those videos. Why does that happen? I don't know. The script says it has to happen.
And he's like, but why would he do that? Listen, I'm going to need you to get all the way off my back about this. That's pretty much what this was. That was stupid. My second complaint was that it's not really a complaint. This is just something I wanted to see. In the opening, as we all know, the opening credits are really amazing. That has the fun little dancing thing. There was an incredibly missed opportunity. About 30 seconds into the opening, where I don't know the song very well, but the part where they all kind of raise their hands and kind of bring it around like a I don't know, like a yoga thing. What they should have done is at that point had like the song playing on low in the background, instrumental without the lyrics, and then had the recap embedded into it. And then at the end of the recap, boom, cut right into the rest of the opening sequence.
What if you just like the opening credits? Like I skip the recap, I don't press skip again when the opening credits.
You're shit out of luck, dude. You're shit out of luck.
Well, no, it works out better the way it is.
I mean, for you, but not for me.
I don't even understand his complaint.
He wants
it's not really
to throw previously on in the middle of the opening credits.
In the middle of the song. Yeah, exactly.
Stupid as fuck.
I think it would have been a great way to sort of make it all one cohesive and fun experience, and then boom, straight into the rest of the opening. Not really a complaint, just a missed opportunity. I think they nailed it. I think he nailed it. I'm excited for season 2. I like all these characters a lot, and I wonder what they're going to do next. Let's start with Jonesy. What did you think of this show as a whole and the finale?
I really like the show overall, and it's funny I brought up Cowboy Bebop because at the end I was like, I wish that he had done Cowboy Bebop because I think that he would have done better with those characters in that way.
I agree. Yeah.
Just thinking about the banter between these characters and the arcs that they were able to accomplish in a relatively not short amount of time, but it's amazing to me to think of network television where you have 20 some odd episodes and it's still not this good. Maybe it's because they're watering it down to spread it out that far. And in this, it just all felt so impactful.
It's because in that old television stuff, like you don't have arcs baked into each episode. It's just like spinning wheels, whereas each episode in this it contributes to both the character arcs and the arc of the story. And that's what adds to the impact.
There aren't any B plots either.
Right.
Yeah.
Not as many, at least.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. And to your point about this is not a show that I asked for, but it is far and away better than I ever could have imagined that it would have been. And it's all down to character work. Like there's action in this, but the thing that will make this show stick with me are the things that they did with the characters, not just one or two, like all of them, right? Just having Amanda Waller's daughter on this show and just like is completely insane, and seeing what that was like and what that did to her. Like you said, what they did with Economos in that moment. Like, did you ever laugh at him talking to, making fun of him, calling him Diebeer? Well, now you're an asshole, right? Like it makes
he's never had a girlfriend and he thought maybe it would help him, but he's so lazy he won't even color his roots.
It's
not lazy, but overworked and underpaid.
Yeah. Maybe L'Oreal is better. It's
because you're worth it, Economos.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing how good it is. And Harcourt, same thing. Like, right. Like you have you have an archetype. You have a character that's just like this very hard female character with no feelings and no emotions. And then very slowly but surely over the course of this, like it was hard to shake the idea that when she took a picture of all of them, it wasn't in service of some greater like fuck you at the end, like she was going to screw them over. But no, it's really because she does care about these people and wants to remember this moment. And then you get that moment at the end with Economos where he puts that picture on his desk. It just is all so good. And so going to the
and they even accomplished that midway as well when they created that little group chat between them.
That's what I knew at first. When she took the picture, I'm like, is this going to be like to send a picture of everyone on my team? But the minute she started the text chain, I was like, okay,
I don't know. Cool. Like to me, it's all still evidence, and so that's where my brain still was.
That's fair.
And what I liked about the ending of this was even Goff coming back at the very end. It is fun to me that the final resolution of this didn't have to be you die and I die or somebody die. Like Goff came back and basically had a beer with Peacemaker. And I to me, that is just so, it goes back to, even though I don't like, it goes back to the first Guardians where they have the dance off. Right. It's just like such a weird and ridiculous ending. But in this, nobody died. Or, some people died.
A lot of people died.
A lot of people died.
And a lot of people will die because they don't have
that
food.
poor cow died. That poor
yeah,
cow
the
died.
final resolution to the ultimate character's plot line wasn't that one of them had to die. And I think that that's just crazy good writing. It's a lot of fun. I like the way that they ended it.
Yeah. It made me unsure as well. It's like, so it's kind of sad. It's bittersweet because Goff essentially gave up. They're like, well, you ruined my plans, but I don't have any reason to kill you at this point. I may as well just live life and have a drink with you.
But for how long, right? So I got the impression that that was the last of it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, but also there was a lot that they milked from that son of a bitch, and there could have been a lot left over for that guy to you know,
if that's on. So, and I guess, yes, that's possibly true. I guess the way my brain took it was either he came back because he or she came back because they are friends and just wanted to hang out, or that literally is the last of it.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's either way, like it was a bittersweet ending overall.
I agree with everything you guys have said, except for Jammer's idea for the previously on, which is just,
I still think,
I don't know. It just seems like it's not like,
I like it.
I like that it's kind of a complaint because you want it, but it also sounds like the worst fucking idea in the world.
It's not a complaint. It's not a complaint, but it's also an amazing idea.
I also really love that they've kind of set it up even for season 2 that his dad is literally haunting him in like a Dexter type way, where he sees his dad, only much more dark and sinister version of that. And Harcourt even saw him kind of flipping out and attacking a tree with blow darts because he literally saw his dad and was like not able to process it. But yeah, because his dad's there sitting with Goth and Eagly and him too at the end. And it's like, oh shit, he's gonna carry that weight with him into the next season.
That's the other thing. I'm really glad that Eagly didn't turn out to be a butterfly.
Was that a theory you had?
Oh, was that a theory?
They said, well, I don't know that it was a theory. They set it up that the butterflies could take over animals, right? Where it took over the gorilla. Eagly seemed pretty smart. And so I was hoping that would not be the case. And it just wasn't like Eagly just
dropped the helmet on purpose in the woods. With that one of the things that pointed to it. I think it was just dumb. I mean, like not a dumb moment.
It wasn't
Eagly's
dumb.
Just dumb. Eagly's dumb, not a dumb moment.
Eagle.
It was hilarious.
And it just could have been a misdirect. So I liked that not only is Eagly not a butterfly, but it is just an animal that genuinely loves Peacemaker. So
yeah,
that's why she came back on the team. She's like, I saw an eagle hug a man. I saw it as a sign, and she's like, you didn't see it as a sign to get the hell out of here.
So what I do, the other thing that I think is interesting about this is that James Gunn, after this next Guardians, said he's going to be focusing on TV for a while. Seems like he's out of the movie. Which isn't he doing
He's doing a movie.
Toxic Avengers movie? Toxic Avenger.
Yeah, there aren't a bunch of them. It's just one guy because that was the first Trauma movie, I think. But no, here's his next project was announced, and I shared the article. Maybe not his next. He's doing a Wile E. Coyote film starring John Cena, where Wile E. Coyote is suing Acme for all the injuries he sustained over the years. And at first I had no interest, except for I like John Cena now, but it could be a Bumblebee type situation. But James Gunn's writing and directing. So I'm like, oh, this could actually be great.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because he always keeps talking about DC, but maybe he said Warner Brothers a few times. But I'm sure Warner Brothers is trying to lock him down like a Nolan. Just like Sony seems to be locking down Tom Holland as much as they can.
So that project, is he directing it, producing it? What's his involvement?
It said he's writing and directing. I may just be producing it.
Because so there's a story that came out 12 hours ago, and it's from Variety. And he says, yeah, I think I pretty much have decided that after I'm done with Guardians, I'm going to be doing television for at least a year. So I mean, that doesn't necessarily preclude. Yeah. So my mind's made up on that. Not all the shows that we're dealing with are things that I'm going to be writing and directing. So some of them may take different amounts of time. Peacemaker is going to be me writing, me directing, and spending all my time on set. But other shows that may not be writing and directing, or not directing, writing at all. He goes on to say like things like, doing Peacemaker was a highlight of his career. So
It was interesting in the news article that announced season 2. It said he'd be writing and directing every episode because in this season they had different directors sometimes.
Right.
Not that it mattered. I mean, that's the way most shows work. And actually, I was going to bring that up earlier with Matt Shankman. Shackman. Are you sure?
Yeah.
I think there's an N in it.
Okay.
But anyway, he basically did direct the movie because he did all 9 episodes of WandaVision.
Like it's Shackman, Shakman.
Shackman. Sorry, Shankman. I gotta screw up at least one name in an episode. So
well, you already screwed up John Krasinski's name earlier, so it's okay. You're already on. You're already.
Even if I didn't dislike him, I could never pronounce that last name. It's like I still can't say the Matrix people. Wachowskis.
We don't say their names anymore anyway.
Wachowski.
So many weird.
It's very simple.
No, it isn't. Anyway, love the season. It's my. I mean, I probably need some cool down time, but I would say it's my favorite superhero TV show, perhaps, out of all of them.
Is it better than Squid Game?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
It is. It's one of the best shows I've seen in a while.
I would say it's better than Squid Game just because it sticks the landing better.
It does. Yeah. It sticks the landing way better for sure.
And also about it, obviously the cameos at the end were very unexpected.
Oh yeah.
I rewatched the scene today because someone posted the entire. It was just where he's like, because earlier he calls Waller. He's like, get the fucking Justice League over here, and they do show up minus Cyborg and Batman. And obviously it's not Henry Cavill or Gal Gadot, but they do have Ezra Miller and Jason Momoa. And then there's the line where he's like, doesn't Peacemaker say something about like go fuck a fish or something? Yeah. And then he's like, I don't fucking do that. And then that's
that rumor.
Yeah,
I hate that rumor. Yeah. And then he's
to which
he says fuck twice. I think he said fucking hate that rumor. And then Ezra Miller's like,
it's not a rumor.
I thought you did or you do or something. And he's like, fuck you, Barry.
Yeah,
just so great. Like a bigger.
I don't understand Warner Brothers' hate towards Henry Cavill. Like I'm very confused about this.
Well, I'm sure honestly, he would have been more expensive.
Yeah, it's all about the money. You got to pay the Henry Cavill dollars.
I just mean generally
more expensive, and Gal Gadot probably the busiest. She's doing all kinds of movies, and maybe even he wasn't busy. Maybe he was too busy. But yeah, it also felt like we're not committing to a Superman still, and we have a new Batman in his own. A news story came out today that he wants to do a universe, Matt Reeves, based around his Batman, not just Batman films and the HBO TV.
Well, yeah, because we have the Gotham TV show, yeah,
and Penguin, but he wants the whole universe of movies too.
Yeah, whatever. Make a good movie first.
Yeah,
how about that?
I'm sure he will. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's great. I love Matt Reeves.
I hear what you're saying. I guess I
thought Batman Superman was going to be great.
My concern is straight in there. It's just the idea of like I need you to like make one good thing first before you start trying to make a whole universe.
A universe within a universe within a universe.
Yeah. Anything else? Jeremy, you're leading this thing. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was waiting for you because I forgot that I was leading it. Because
actually, I thought it was weird when you took over. Was that the plan before, or did you just?
Yeah, it was the plan. Oh. I just forgot partway through. So, is this movie better, or is this show better than the Suicide Squad?
Absolutely.
No. Oh shit!
I would say absolutely.
Why not?
Why not?
No, Idris Elba.
Yeah, that does hurt. I think I didn't expect it just as much as I didn't expect the show. And my expectations of the movie were lower based on what had come before. And so not liking the earlier version of Suicide Squad, seeing what James Gunn did with those characters in that universe, I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. And this was still really, really good. I just think that my expectations were in the toilet for the Suicide Squad.
So I would say the opposite for me. Sorry, like my expectations for Suicide Squad were super high because I was like, it's James Gunn. I trust him. He keeps saying the studio lets him do whatever he wants. This is like an R-rated Guardians of the Galaxy where you can kill people and show violence, and he's best with R ratings. And then Peacemaker, again, like we said, we were kind of skeptical because it's like the character's hilarious, but how much depth will there be to a show about a guy who wears his underwear while he's killing people?
We should have known. We're fucking. I should have known. I should have known that he would have been able to make it work. But one thing I think I like that this show also does, speaking of the Suicide Squad, is it really it changes the canon or the status quo, and has Amanda Waller's daughter basically out Amanda Waller's whole Task Force X thing. So it makes me wonder
Black
what is
Widow and Winter Soldier.
right. So what's next? What's next for the Suicide Squad franchise, for the Peacemaker franchise? Like, how does that play out in this universe? Do you guys have any thoughts about that?
I think the 11th Street kids or whatever find out about a threat and go on their own without any kind of direction from Amanda Waller or an Argus or whatever agency.
To be clear, you're talking about Peacemaker and his crew, right?
Yeah, Peacemaker and his crew. Yeah.
But what about what happens to Task Force X? Do we get another Suicide Squad movie? If so, what does that look like? Since essentially the government, well, I guess the government knew about it already, kind of on some level, but it's out in public now.
But yeah.
But what happens next?
Maybe we don't see another
thoughts?
Suicide Squad movie.
Nick, are you done?
Oh, I just said maybe we don't see another Suicide Squad movie ever.
So I think it is I think Nick's probably right. I think it is a way to kind of end that thread. But also so this is weird. I think it does two potential things. It sets up that situation where she gets to come back and say, like, yeah, you disbanded me, but now there's another threat and you fucking need me. What?
He's laughing.
I'm laughing at, he just like wrung his cat's neck, just like
because he knocked my.
You look like the dog from Duck Hunt holding the ducks up like, after you freaking shoot one.
People picturing this home, I did not hold my cat by his throat straight up in the air.
No, you didn't. He just held it up just in front of the camera to stuff where it looked like that was the case. Anyways, go ahead, Jonesy. Sorry, we interrupted you actually making good points, but then he distracted me with his
like
cat.
your goddamn background.
Yeah, I just think that there are two potential sequences. It's one, either we don't see anything else from the Suicide Squad and it's just done. So we'll get a throwaway line in some film about there were hearings and then Amanda Waller went to jail or whatever, but not really. The other way that it happens is it gets disbanded and then they have to come back on Bended Knee to Amanda Waller and be like, hey, there's this threat. And she's like, fuck you. And she's the only one that can do what she does, which is bring together the worst people in the world to accomplish her mission. So, that sounds like movie 3. That sounds like the perfect direction to go for a third movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like that it could go either way. I like that it feels just as definitive as it does not, which is cool. I think that is very good writing. It's open-ended just enough.
Here's why I think we have to bring her back, really, even though this is something I don't want to see since the Snyder Cut stuff was going to do this. And the next video game is called Kill the Justice League. But what if the Justice League does get mind controlled and go bad? And they're like, well, the whole reason we put her in charge of the first time was what if Superman ripped the roof off the White House? So they're like, we need to bring back the person whose original plan was to have a Superman countermeasure.
Which they aren't.
Yeah, not at all.
Let's get Captain
Polka Dot
Boomerang.
Man versus Superman would be interesting, but he did.
No, it would not be interesting.
He seems super powerful.
He would lose.
Who would? Polka Dot Man?
Yeah, Polka Dot Man would lose.
Yeah, no.
Maybe those are made of Crypto Night.
Maybe.
That's the new cryptocurrency I'm going to release. Crypto Night.
God damn it. All right.
If anyone steals that, I'll fucking kill you.
I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers has that.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers probably has it.
All right, so let's go
Third Eye
letter
Blind.
grade for the entire series. Nick, what's your letter grade for the show?
I already gave it an A+ on Twitter. I'm standing by it. Again,
Jonesy.
I'm in the honeymoon phase. Phase right now. Where it's like I'm glowing. You can see me glowing.
Okay then. What about you, Jonesy? After that awkward analogy.
Same, A+. I'm trying to think of what, if anything, I would have wanted more from the show, and I can't really think of anything.
Literally, there was just that one scene that fucked with me. I wish they didn't get out of the car. I feel like they could have had much of the same stuff happen without that stupid thing happening. But whatever.
To be
fair,
Peacemaker's
it's
not the brightest tool
destroyed.
in the shed.
That's true. And neither is Vigilante. Vigilante
No.
is dumbest.
I'm so glad they didn't kill him because part of his legacy in the comic books is dying a terrible death. And I was very glad they didn't kill Hardcourt when she looked like she would be. He really didn't kill anyone on the team. This was kind of the opposite of the Suicide Squad. He's like, I almost felt like he loved the characters too much to kill them.
That was
would have been devastated more than any Suicide Squad character died.
So does that mean we're gonna get
real? Well, how fucking real was it when freaking Economos tripped and he freaking cut open his leg? Like, or it's just like, yeah, that would happen to me.
That happens.
I would just trip and just be like, what the fuck just happened to my leg?
Over under that we're gonna get TDK in season 2.
Over. Wait, does that mean I'm betting for it?
I don't know. I don't know how gambling works. I don't do it.
I think he might even be the one who gets his own TV series there, since he's talking about other Suicide Squad TV series. He loves Nathan Fillion. Why not give a character with even less knowledge of an in-depth backstory and like characters in his world? And he team up with Weasel, who also lived. When just Danny and I did one of our episodes, we were discussing what the spinoffs could possibly be that would be most interesting, since he's doing Suicide, not DCEU spinoffs, even though this is part of DCEU, but he's doing specifically the Suicide Squad TV series. Where like it would be a very different tone. In fact, maybe this is the ones you get a different team on, but I'd love to see Bloodshot or Bloodsport combined two other characters. I was like, then did King Shark live?
Yeah.
And Ratcat. I want
King
a Ratcatcher King Shark team up show.
I think
Since
Polka
they have
Dot
such a
Man might have
close
been the only
relationship.
one that died.
Almost all of them died at the end.
So
Yeah,
Rick
you got,
Flag died.
Rick
Polka
Flag,
Dot Man died.
Polka
And I
Dot
think that's
Man.
it.
Peacemaker, kind of. We thought he died.
Yeah, until the post.
No, that doesn't count. Yeah,
You're right. That doesn't count. But I'm just talking about to the end sequence, though. But as far as like, you got Harley
They
Quinn,
killed off less
you
than
got
I thought.
Bloodsport, you got. Yeah, I think it was just him. It was from the main group, I guess you would say.
Yeah, it's just 2.
Yeah.
It's so weird how like I never
unfortunately.
would have thought that Polka Dot Man would have been like, oh yeah, he's in the main group. Would not have thought that Polka Dot Man would have been in the main group.
That's James Gunn, man. It's only a matter of time. He already brought up Kite Man, which makes me sad. No, that's what.
Why?
Why does it make you sad?
Because it says he was apprehended in the news story, but he also made
He
a
can
comment on
escape.
he doesn't have a rogues gallery because he kills all of his enemies. I don't think he was apprehended. I think he was shot to death. That was my assumption. But I can't remember who said it. If it was someone on Slack, Twitter, or even my roommate. No, it wasn't my roommate, but someone was like, I want season 2 to be Kite Man's revenge. Where he like gets out of prison and is like, you put me away, motherfucker. Hell yeah.
That'd be good. I'll
That's
watch
like
a Kite
that's just
Man
the cold
spin-off.
open and he gets mowed down by Vigilante. Just shoots the holes in his kite and he's ah!
Vigilante was definitely a shining star in the show that was already shining. I did not expect to like him as much as I did. I thought he'd be annoying.
He's only like Deadpool because his voice is a little similar, and when you wear a suit like that, you have to gesture like exaggerated, otherwise yeah.
I
And
think it's
obviously he's a
fascinating that
psychopath.
they had to reshoot all of that stuff.
What?
Can you explain?
So I'm sorry, I thought you guys knew. They recast Vigilante
What?
at some point during the course of the show.
Like Back to the Future style?
I don't.
Where they shot with a different actor for like a month?
Yeah, something like that. And so they had to. It was like they were like 5 episodes in, and they had to redo it. And
You
so
remember
James
why?
Gunn had. I don't.
Did you not like him?
So
Like Eric Stoltz in Back to the Future, or
stop that? It was something like what I remember James Gunn saying was like they knew at some point, and I don't remember what the specific reason was. Like they just knew it wasn't a right fit or something like that. And so after episode 5, James Gunn had to come in and direct all of the reshoots with a new Vigilante.
I don't know
Wow.
who the
I
other
didn't
guy
know
was,
that.
but I like this guy.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, according to he says, yeah, Stroma, that's the actor, came in late. We already shot 5.5 episodes with another actor who's an incredibly talented guy, but we were on different pages about certain things. I don't think he wanted to continue on the series in the long run. So we brought Freddie in 5.5 episodes in, and I reshot all the scenes. And you're the first person to ask me that question, which I'm surprised by. But yeah, we reshot. I directed all the scenes with Vigilante in 5.5 episodes.
That's
Damn.
super vague. So that's why I was like, I don't remember. Like it's just.
It almost sounds like he didn't want to do a season 2, and they had some creative differences. He's like, he didn't want to continue on with the series.
part of me wonders if it has to do with just the mindset of the character. Maybe he imagined the character as less sociopathic than he actually is. And that way, like the part where freaking what's his name is crying, he's like, "Hey, you don't have to do your face. Now's not the good time to do your face exercises." No, he's crying.
No,
like,
but
yeah,
it does sound
Vigilante is fucking crazy. Like he's insane.
Very much like the Eric Stoltz and Back to the Future situation, where they're like, "This is not working. This is not how we pictured Marty. Even though we know we're going to replace him, we're still going to be filming for a week without telling the cast that we're going to have to reshoot everything."
I'm trying to figure out episode 5. What was it? Monkey Dory. I don't remember what episode that was. I'm curious. I'm gonna have to go back and look and see, like, what was it about episodes 3 and 4 leading up to 5 where he was like, "I'm out."
I guess TV usually does shoot in order, but do these serialize? And they have to have a director for each one. Like Stranger Things has different directors, but you'd almost feel like it would be more like a movie production since you've written all of it in advance, where you'd be like, "Oh, were you going to use this location? Then we're going to shoot all this location rather than doing the episodes in order." But TV is just a different animal. No, but like the TV shows on TV aren't that way because they're writing the scripts as they go along.
Network TV.
Yeah, network TV. Even cable TV. Like I'm talking about streaming, like you get your Stranger Things episodes all written at once.
By the way,
I'm also
release date.
I was going to say, I'm also curious. They probably didn't have to reshoot all of it, right? So just the stuff where he wasn't in the suit.
They just had some of the performance could be
the last guy.
Yeah.
Someone tweeted James Gunn. It's like, is that a prescription visor, or is he like doing a Clark Kent thing when he wears the glasses? He's like, oh no, of course it's a prescription visor.
I never thought about that. I wondered because I was like, why is he like?
I thought he was Clark Kenting it, but even though he wears a mask. But no, James Gunn was like, of course it's a prescription visor. He has to be able to see things. He's
fair.
Not completely crazy.
Maybe.
I don't know. He seemed completely crazy.
It's canon.
I just love it.
James Gunn said it. Not the completely crazy.
Any final thoughts about Peacemaker?
Shut it down.
Love it.
All right.
Cut the check.
Go ahead and take the lead here, Jonesy. Now that I bequeath the baton back to you.
Lead. Piggy has the conch. I get it back.
Yeah, Piggy has the
conch.
Nice.
You have the con.
We're literary here on Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast.
I've actually read that book. I've actually read Lord of the Flies.
It's kind of funny you said it has the con. Now I'm wondering if that's what that should refer
Star
to.
Trek was really took it from
or maybe the kids
Lord
that's what
of the
they take it
Flies?
from. That'd be awesome.
I don't know which one came first. So I'm assuming the book is older than. Yeah.
We're
off on tangents. Wrap her up.
All right, dear listener, if you like what you heard, do all the socials, like, rate, comment, subscribe, share. We definitely appreciate it. Also, LRM has other great content. Where else? On lrmonline.com.
And the Genreverse Podcast Network.
Yeah, that.
Where you can find it. And that's also a YouTube channel. Genre. Oh my God! Genreverse Podcast Network.
You're Nick Dolling it.
And you can follow me. You can follow me on Twitter at Jam the Writer, and you can find all of my books on Amazon and Audible under the name AJ Cerna.
It sounded insane. Just follow me. Follow me. You're definitely peacemakering it.
For some reason, that always reminds me of Tom Hanks in freaking The Lady Killers, where he's
I think
climbing
you're the person
after.
that's seen that movie.
I definitely am. He's climbing after the cat trying to get to the tree. He's like, come, Professor. That's it.
I am at Geeky Nick Doll on Twitter, and we finally recorded our episode where we synced up via Disney Plus accounts and did a commentary on X-Men Wolverine Origins. I don't know when it's going to be out.
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Whatever. I did say that completely wrong. That's how bad it is. Doesn't matter what the title is. The full
Wolverine Origins.
The podcast will be us the full 2 hours of us talking, and we tell you when to start it. You can watch along with us. There's lots of conversation that has nothing to do with the movie because it's boring as fuck. And then online, eventually Kyle's gonna cut like the best 15 minutes. It's like a little montage. So look for that. That's about it.
Okay. And you can find me at Sir Jonesy on Twitter as well as Instagram, and of course right here on Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast. Folks, as always, thanks for listening, and we will catch you on the next one. Hasta lasagna.
Don't get any anya.
Mission accomplished. It still blows my mind that the guy who plays Vigilante is the guy from Harry Potter 6.
Yeah.
I know, I did look it up later. Even though I don't know much about Harry Potter 6. I saw him in his other uniform, and I'm like,
yeah.
It's like Ansel Mount in those two different roles. I would never put them together.
Anson.
And the same thing with the guy who plays Dr. Henry Wu.